Well, joining me now, Chad Wolf, America First Policy Institute Executive Director and former Acting Secretary of Homeland Security under President Trump. Chad, glad to have you with us today. This is an astounding number to me. 15,000 people marching to your nation's border. You talk about got-away numbers and people slipping through. What is it going to mean if you've got a mass of people that large hitting our border at one time? This sounds like chaos to me.
Well, it will be chaos at the end of the day. And look, when you have 15,000 folks showing up at our southern border, and the vast majority of these folks will likely enter between a port of entry, right? So that's illegally through the country. And at the end of the day, you don't know who makes up that 15,000. So you don't know these individuals. They haven't been vetted for the vast majority of them. And so as they cross that border, there will be some that will be apprehended, but there will be many that we call gotaways that won't ever encounter a border patrol agent. And so it becomes very dangerous at the end of the day. And so, you know, this administration, the government of Mexico and others need to do their job, need to step up to the plate and address this issue before it gets too big, before it gets too large, and it takes on a life of its own. It's important to remember that because you're in a caravan, that doesn't grant you special privileges to cross the border illegally. You still have to, you're still breaking the law, and there needs to be consequences to that. There's an orderly way to come into the country, and they need to abide by that. But,
you know, Chad, it seems to me that the folks in that caravan really think that the orderly way to come into this country right now is to show up at the border and hope that this administration doesn't enforce our laws. I mean, that to me seems to be the recipe. They're marching, they're cheering as they march. And you watch it from this side of the border, and you look to administration officials who are providing some leadership and helping to inspire confidence. I just hear crickets, Chad. Is there anybody that you think is actually on this issue and ready to address the kind of consequences that you've been talking about?
Well, I think if you listen to some of the migrant caravan folks, they've actually been interviewed, and one or two of them have actually said, you know, we heard from the Biden administration that they're going to allow us to enter the country. They're going to allow us to come over the border, and they need to keep their promises to us. They told us that they would remove Title 42, so we can't be removed from the country. And so the messaging that the Biden administration has shown over the course of the last several months is very dangerous, but B, is having real world effects on this caravan of this size. They would not be coming to the border if there were certain procedures and policies in place that did not allow them to come in, and would have them remain in Mexico if they're going to seek asylum, and have these asylum cooperative agreements in place and operating. They wouldn't be making this trek. They're making this trek for a very, very simple reason, that the Biden administration has, one, has encouraged it, and two, are not removing individuals at the end of the day.
Speaking of policies that are in place, we've heard a bit about these migrant flights that happen in the middle of the night. New York is a major center for those flights. I want you to listen, actually, to what Governor Kathy Hochul has to say about it. She appears to be rolling out the red carpet on this. Listen.
You're undocumented. You don't have it. No one's taking care of you. And I said, why don't we show what kind of people we are here in the state of New York? Over the age of 65, we'll pick up that tab regardless of your status.
So the governor there talking about Medicaid for undocumented workers, whether it's flights, whether it's Medicaid. It's that message, Chad. Really quickly, what does that mean when migrants hear that?
Well, it means everything to them, right? The messages that the governor is saying and others like it, they are being messaged and they're being advertised to others south of this border. I think what policymakers and officials in the U.S. have to understand is that their words have meaning and they have value. And so when you say, let's bring them to the state of New York and let's take care of their health care, that becomes an incentive and a magnet. Yep. And they need to realize that. And you can bet that migrants are coming to the border because of what they've heard.
That's what they hear, Chad. Exactly. We got to leave it there, Chad. Thanks for being with us, and we'll be right back.